All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain drama. We talk about superstar injury updates, inactive status, contract negotiations, signings, basically everything. From AEW to WWE to the GCW to the NWA to New Japan Professional Wrestling to the CMLL. If it makes major news wrestling headlines, we talk about it here on the GSMC Sports Network. So, on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Sorry about that. All right. So, now we're going to jump on into our AEW Dynamite preview. But first, we're going to talk about that super chat, guys. You guys, I know right now my chat's acting a little funky. Hopefully, I'm trying to refresh and trying to get it, get it going here. But obviously, if you have a, burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling or just something you're dying to get off your chest, we at the GSMC Sports Network are all ears 1,010%. So, the show is all about keeping you guys, active, keeping you guys, to kind of, interact with the show. Definitely love when you guys do send in those chats, 1,010%. It's all about keeping the conversation going, keeping the party going, making sure your voice is heard. And it's part of our, podcast and stuff like that. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat? Hit that $ below that chat box, and your comment, question, or concern is guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way for us here at the GSMC Sports Network to keep this podcast going. Obviously, bringing you guys even more awesome sports content that you guys love so dang much. So, but first and foremost, we are absolutely grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network, on any one of our shows. Your support makes all of the difference. So go ahead and send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together, we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chats aren't your thing, you can still hit up the GSMCpodcast.net, hit up the tips and donations link in the GSMC, at the link. And tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Obviously, Superman punch that, like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But obviously, we take criticism well as well. We take criticism well as well. Sound kind of weird. Uh, but yeah, definitely 1,010%. Send in those super chats. Don't be shy. And yeah, we're gonna have fun. That's what watching a podcast is all about. You don't watch a podcast to be like you're taking a test or anything like that. You watch a podcast to kind of release, listen about something that obviously piques your interest, and you just have fun. You smile when you're listening to it. So that's exactly what I want this platformer podcast to be. All right. So it's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is live, and it's set to be an actually pretty good show. Obviously, we are a week away from what is it, Grand Slam? From Grand Not Grand Slam. I think it is. No, AEW Dynamite. Yeah, Grand Slam. So it should be pretty cool. In Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. So it should be pretty good one. It should be pretty good. 1,010%. Grand Slam 2024 at the legendary Arthur Ashe Stadium, where we will see the Young Bucks defend the World Tag. Yep, exactly. That's where they're gonna be. All right, so let's go and talk about some Dynamite. First and foremost, we're going to talk about Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, still seeming like he's, kind of has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to take Bryan Danielson's title. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, I kind of gave you guys my hot take, my philosophy, what I thought was going to happen, the plan. Like what I would do if I planned, Daniel Bryan. If I was Tony Khan, or if I was a creative, officer for All Elite Wrestling, this whole time Bryan Danielson's been with the company, I believe since 2022. I think it is. I think I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. He's done nothing but great things. He's done nothing but great things for the company. Even, Tony Khan wanted to put the title on him. He wanted to put the title on him for so long, and he was like, you know what? My neck is messed up. I don't know how long I have for this neck. I have surgery. I don't, I can't really give you guys the best thing that a sports star could give a company is, you could talk about, their physical abilities, their mental abilities, but the best thing is your availability. Sometimes if you get injured, That's you can't really do much there. Like you can't really work on your game or anything like that, especially something like a neck injury. You know what I mean? Like he knew probably sat down with Bree, and he was like, it's not like a meniscus, or it's not like getting Tommy John surgery. It's your neck. One bad move and you can be paralyzed. You can be paralyzed 1,010%, and that sucks. You can't go out and do the thing that you love so damn much, and you gotta worry about your family. You know what I mean? Like dancing with your daughter on her wedding night. You know what I mean? Or hanging out with your son, or taking him out, or playing baseball, or something like that. Like that's something you can't do. Obviously, if you can't use the body parts from the neck down. So a little heartbreaking, a little grim, but I can understand why Danielson wouldn't want the title. He sees a whole bunch of these guys that are great wrestlers. AEW has a pretty good roster. He's like, you know what? You can find gold with these guys. Like, these guys could definitely withhold, airing three shows. Rampage is also AEW After Dark, so technically four, and they run PLEs like crazy. It's crazy. They got Dynamite, also Collision, Rampage, if I didn't say that before. And I don't know, it's kind of cool, kind of like a team player, like what I mean, kind of something that Brian Danielson, his philosophy is in terms of kind of helping your guys kind of get over. Sometimes it's not all about you. So 4 years in the making, we have the learning trees, Chris Jericho taking on freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. And I can't wait to see it. I saw some of their snippets of their match. I think they had a Mimosa match or something like that. And I saw Chris Jericho fall into a bath of mimosas, and I thought that was pretty badass. I love the creativity, and I love the different matches from AEW. That kind of gives me like a WWF attitude kind of approach, like early WCW. It's funny. It's cool. You know what I mean? And when it happens, it's like you get this satisfaction. Like, you know what I mean? There's only so much Sorry, excuse me. There's only so much satisfaction you can have with some guy climbing out of the steel cage, or some guy, pinning some guy 1, 2, 3, or nowadays, even in like tables, ladders, and chairs match in WWE, sometimes they don't even use the tables, ladders, and chairs. They kind of, they use kind of like maybe 2 out of the 3. Man, it would be like Dudley Boy status, man. You got to use all that stuff, man. You got to use all that stuff. So, definitely, but then again, for it being too violent, it's a concern. It's a concern. Sure, you're kind of entertaining the older crowd on the demographic from 19 to 41 years old, but for kids, if they're not allowing kids to watch your product, they can't become a fan. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I feel like John Cena was so great for WWE during the Ruthless Aggression era. How he was able to get kids into it, and of course, then it transpired to like the new generation. And it was something that WWE has been able to kind of, I don't want to, say this because it sounds kind of like bad, not like use John Cena to get to the kids, but you kind of give them someone to look up to. Like, I mean? Kind of like what Hulk Hogan was back in the 80s. Like, what I mean? Something like, Ric Flair was for, younger generation superstars that, they wanted to be like him. They wanted to be that kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, son of a gun. And, got to protect the foundation. You know what I mean? But so far, I feel like they're doing pretty decent, pretty decent. But I do look into the crowd sometimes. Hardly see kids on Dynamite or Collision or Rampage. So definitely something that that Tony Khan should probably take into consideration. All right, next we have trios battle. We have the Elite, the AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada, and the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, take on the AEW International Champion Will Ospreay and Don Callis families Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. I don't know who should win this match. A lot of back and forth. Obviously, next week is that titles match. Just to kind of, I was kind of hoping for another tag team to win. Like, no one really in specific, but like the whole double champions thing in AEW, it seems like it's a little more common than not. And I don't think that's the way it should be. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of wanted to see, maybe Orange Cassidy team up with, Kyle O'Reilly. I thought that would be pretty awesome. Or Tomohiro Ishii teaming up with Kyle O'Reilly would be pretty cool. The conglomeration, taking on the Young Bucks and maybe potentially winning. I think that would have been pretty badass. But overall, we got Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, the proto star, to go ahead and challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles at Grand Slam next Wednesday night. So I kind of feel a little animosity between I kind of feel like Don Callis still kind of has a kind of still has holds a grudge over Will Ospreay willingly leaving the Don Callis family. Obviously Roosh doesn't really look like he likes Will Ospreay kind of being around the family. Konosuke Takeshita also as well, kind of giving Will Ospreay those bad vibes. But definitely think maybe something happens. I doubt they're gonna kick Kyle Fletcher out of the Don Callis family. Maybe they do. Maybe that night, like maybe the Young Bucks or or the Elite, and they kind of get under the skin of Don Callis, and maybe kind of get him to to screw them over, and that could be a huge possibility. So then now you have this kind of this alliance between the Don Callis family and the Elite, because something needs to change. Like the Elite, I talk about and I reiterate on this podcast over and over and over and over again that like it's kind of dying. The whole, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of dying. So, I think something big needs to happen. Something that's like a curve bar or something. So that'd be pretty cool. Next, we have a tag team grudge match. The AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May teams up with the Professor Serena Deeb against Queen Aminata and Yuka Sakazaka. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a great match. Queen Aminata, she's great in Ring of Honor. She was literally like so close to defeating Athena and dethroning her from being the longest Ring of Honor World Championship title holder, let alone the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. So I definitely think that's super cool. I believe in her. I think she has what it takes, but one on one, obviously, not really in her wheelhouse, so to speak, but I don't know, it should be crazy. Next, we have Ricochet taking on the Beast Mortos. The Beast Mortos, he's doing great in AEW, and Ricochet after his debut. It's been great. It's crazy how AEW has featured Ricochet on prime time television, smack dab in the middle of all the attention, longer than WWE has in his whole entire career. And he's just been there for almost a month. And that just goes to show that Ricochet right now is in the right spot. He's definitely deserves to be in the limelight. Like Will Ospreay kind of said, he doesn't deserve to be having 3-minute matches on, on WWE's Twitter and stuff like that. So, I'm happy for Ricochet. I love that he's, killing it in AEW. Wouldn't have it any other way. But that's gonna be a hard hitting match. Honestly, that match has the potential to kind of be like a sleeper match of like match of the night. So, definitely, love AEW Dynamite. Can't wait to see what happens. I got it recorded right now. So as soon as I get done with this podcast, I get to watch it. So, take a couple notes and talk to you guys about it tomorrow. All right. So, talked about Dynamite. In our third segment, we're going to talk about, I hate it when it does that. We're going to talk about the New Day heading for a breakup. It's been so long. Wow. It's been amazing how long these guys have kind of stayed together, and WWE Creative kind of left them alone. You know what I mean? Which was actually pretty shocking. But we'll get into it, in a little bit. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about like 20 seconds.